Are you absolutely fed up, Falcons faithful? Are you tired of watching opposing quarterbacks stand in the pocket, sipping tea, while our defensive line struggles to generate any real pressure? Have you yearned, with every fiber of your being, for that game-changing, heart-stopping, quarterback-sacking force that could finally elevate our defense from good to truly terrifying? Because if you have, then brace yourselves, because the whispers from the NFL's inner sanctum are growing louder, and they're pointing directly to a potential seismic shift that could redefine the Atlanta Falcons' defensive identity. For years, the Atlanta Falcons have been searching for that elusive, dominant pass rusher. It's been a quest that has felt at times like chasing a mirage in the desert, tantalizingly close, yet always just out of reach. We've seen flashes, moments of brilliance, but never the consistent, game-wrecking presence that truly strikes fear into the hearts of offensive coordinators. This offseason, our front office invested heavily, bringing in seasoned veterans like Leonard Floyd and Morgan Fox, signaling a clear intent to bolster the defensive line. Yet, despite these efforts, the cold, hard truth from analytics giants like Pro Football Focus still stings. Our unit is ranked perilously close to the bottom of the league. It's a stark reminder that even with significant resources poured in, the pass rush remains a glaring Achilles heel, a vulnerability that could derail even the most promising of seasons. But what if I told you there's a storm brewing in Cincinnati, a tempest of contractual discontent that could unleash one of the league's most prolific sack artists directly into our waiting arms? While the national spotlight has been fixated on Micah Parsons' high-stakes holdout in Dallas, another equally impactful saga has been unfolding quietly, yet with immense implications for the entire NFL landscape. We're talking about Trey Hendrickson, the Cincinnati Bengals' undisputed sack king, a man who has made a living turning quarterback dreams into nightmares. He's shown up to training camp, yes, but he's been conspicuously absent from the practice field, a silent protest in street clothes, a clear signal that his current contract simply doesn't reflect his monumental value. And as the preseason clock ticks relentlessly closer to kickoff, the calls for the Falcons to make a bold, decisive move are growing into a roar. Imagine, for a moment, the sheer, unadulterated chaos that Trey Hendrickson could unleash in a Falcons uniform. This isn't just about adding another body, it's about injecting pure, unadulterated dynamite into a unit desperately craving an explosion. My colleague already delved into the tantalizing, albeit complex, possibility of acquiring Parsons yesterday. But today, our focus sharpens on Hendrickson, a player who, frankly, could have an even more immediate and transformative impact on our defense. Grayson Freestone, a keen observer of the Falcons for Fansided's Blogging Dirty, didn't mince words this morning when he compiled his definitive list of top trade targets. Unsurprisingly, with a conviction that resonates with every frustrated Falcons fan, Trey Hendrickson stood alone at the summit. Trey Hendrickson will be headlining trade lists until the Bengals can decide on whether they want to pay him or trade him, Freestone asserted, his words echoing the sentiment of a fan base hungry for a game-changer. For the Falcons' sake, they hope it is the latter. The situation in Cincinnati is a delicate dance, a high-stakes negotiation where every step is scrutinized. It's entirely plausible, of course, that Hendrickson and the Bengals will eventually find common ground, that a new deal will be struck, and that this formidable pass rusher will remain in the AFC North. But as of this very moment, no agreement has been reached, and the tension is palpable. Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio, a man with an uncanny knack for unearthing the inner workings of NFL front offices, believes the Bengals presumably aren't thrilled about Hendrickson's hold-in. The evidence, Florio suggests, lies in the Bengals' own depth chart. Despite being inarguably one of the premier pass rushers in the entire league, Trey Hendrickson is currently listed at a baffling number 3. Joseph Ossai and Cam Sample, talented players in their own right, currently occupy the top 2 spots. This depth chart placement, whether a strategic negotiating tactic or a genuine reflection of the Bengals' frustration, speaks volumes. If an agreement is reached, Hendrickson will undoubtedly reclaim his rightful number 1 spot. but that if hangs heavy in the air, a question mark hovering over the Bengals' immediate future. The crux of the matter, as Florio further illuminates, boils down to the structure and the guarantees of a new contract. It's a tale as old as time in professional sports. A player seeking the financial security and respect commensurate with their elite performance, and a team grappling with salary cap implications and long-term roster planning. While it's unclear whether the Bengals are levying fines against Hendrickson for his absence from practice, one thing is crystal clear. The start of the regular season is barreling down on us, and the window for a resolution or a trade is rapidly closing. And what a resolution it could be for the Atlanta Falcons. Let's talk numbers, because numbers don't lie. Trey Hendrickson has been an absolute statistical marvel, leading the entire league with a staggering 35 sacks over the past 2 seasons, an eye-popping 17.5 in each. Now, consider this sobering fact. The Falcons, as an entire team, managed a paltry 31 sacks last year. Let that sink in. One man on his own has outsacked our entire defensive unit over the past 2 years. And it's been nearly a decade since a single Falcon has even cracked double-digit sacks. The drought is real, the need is desperate, and the solution, in the form of Trey Hendrickson, seems to be dangling tantalizingly within reach. As Freestone so aptly put it, Hendrickson could be the massive cherry on top of the position's retooling, transforming our defensive line from a unit of potential to a force of nature. While Hendrickson undoubtedly represents the crown jewel of potential trade targets, Freestone's insightful list extends beyond the immediate, offering a glimpse into other intriguing possibilities that could reshape the Falcons roster. Among them are 2 former top 10 draft picks, players who, while perhaps not offering the immediate overwhelming impact of a Hendrickson, represent significant long-term upside. First, there's Kayvon Thibodeaux, the dynamic pass rusher from the New York Giants. Acquiring a player of Thibodeaux's caliber, a former top 10 pick with immense potential, would undoubtedly demand a significant haul of assets from the Falcons. But as Freestone suggests, it's a call worth making, a market worth exploring for a player he describes as a phenomenal rotational piece. While Thibodeaux might not yet possess Hendrickson's established, league-leading resume, his youth and raw talent are undeniable. He has, as Freestone points out, shown real flashes of becoming the league's next dominant pass rusher. This would be a move for the future, a strategic investment in a player who could grow into a cornerstone of our defense for years to come. Then there's the intriguing, albeit slightly more unconventional, suggestion of Tennessee Titans quarterback Will Levis. Levis, who underwent season-ending shoulder surgery this offseason, might seem like an odd fit for a team that just invested heavily in Michael Penix Jr. and has Kirk Cousins at the helm. However, Freestone's logic is compelling. They should buy while the stock is low. The idea here is a long-term play, stashing Levis on injured reserve with the hope that he could develop into a solid backup to Penix Jr. once Kirk Cousins eventually moves on. It's a move that speaks to foresight, to building a robust quarterback room for the years ahead, ensuring stability and depth at the most crucial position on the field. Finally, Freestone's list rounds out with Chicago Bears tight end Cole Kmet, a potential target that hints at another significant roster shakeup. The Bears' decision to select tight end Colston Loveland with a number 10 overall pick in this April's draft sent a clear signal. Chicago might be ready to move on from Kmet. And in a fascinating twist, the Falcons have their own first-round tight end who has been the subject of intense speculation, Kyle Pitts. Whether or not the Falcons trade Kyle Pitts remains to be seen, Freestone wrote, acknowledging the ongoing uncertainty, but one thing is for sure. They need to find his replacement because his days in Atlanta are dwindling. This suggests a potential swap, or at least a recognition that the tight end position could see a significant overhaul in Atlanta, adding yet another layer of intrigue to the Falcons' off-season machinations. As the preseason marches on and the regular season looms large, all eyes will be on Cincinnati and the unfolding saga of Trey Hendrickson. Will the Bengals break the bank to keep their star? Or will they, perhaps reluctantly, make him available to the highest bidder? And it's a big if, the disgruntled edge rusher becomes truly available, the Atlanta Falcons must, without a moment's hesitation, pick up the phone and immediately inquire about the price. Because the opportunity to acquire a player of Hendrickson's caliber, a player who could single-handedly transform our pass rush and elevate our defense to truly elite status, is a chance we simply cannot afford to miss. This isn't just about winning games. It's about igniting a passion, inspiring a belief, and finally giving the Falcons faithful the dominant defense they've so desperately craved. So, what do you think, Falcons fans? Is Trey Hendrickson the missing piece to our defensive puzzle? Could he be the one to finally bring that consistent, game-changing pressure we've been dreaming of? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're as excited as we are about the potential for a truly dominant Falcons defense, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for all the latest breaking news and in-depth analysis. Your passion fuels our coverage, and we can't wait to hear your take on this potentially monumental move.